This one, yeah.
Is this running
it's
already?
Yeah, it's already going.
Oh shit.
I just sat down and just goes.
But here we go. It's official. Nah, this is actually awesome. I guess we should say welcome ourselves.
Yeah.
My name is Shawn White. You got Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler Dumdye over here.
How you say it?
Tyler Dumdye.
Dumdye.
Yeah.
Dope. Where are you actually from? Like, what is it from?
It's German.
Is it?
Yeah, I just don't know where I'm from. I've never done like any sort of ancestry thing.
You should.
Yeah. I need to.
Pretty cool.
I want to.
Who knows, man? There might be like 7-string cousins down the road.
I don't know.
Could be.
You'd know more than me because I don't know anything about Germany.
Have you ever been?
No.
Oh, yeah, definitely need to go. For those that don't know, I'm half German. I was born and raised in Germany. I moved here when I was 15.
Honestly, okay, so personally, like, tell me your story. So, like, what year were you born?
1992.
92?
Yeah. So I just turned 30 this past November.
Copy. And you moved here when? Like,
When I was 15. So we moved here.
So what was life like in Germany, personally? Like, do you remember much?
Absolutely.
What do you remember of it?
Everything.
Like, when did you start remembering things, I should say, of it? Like, when you were, like, 5 or some shit?
I think it started when I was like 3, 4. Because I can recall playing soccer in like my first soccer games, which I played soccer all the way up till I was like 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
Very competitive too. Like played on like different levels of soccer as far as probably if I would have stayed, I probably would have went pro.
Yeah. At what age?
You were allowed to go pro at 16.
Okay.
You were allowed to sign contracts. I had a couple offers to go play at different places. I've always gotten bored easily.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So, like, I've always had natural, raw talent. And
once you pick it up, you kind of get bored of it?
Yeah, like, once because it's like, for me, I wanted to, like, dominate it and then get to a point where it's just like, I left it there.
Yeah, like,
but, like, legacy. I never actually, looking back at it now, out of all the sports I ever played, because I did it with every sport. Soccer, basketball. Like, when I was playing basketball in Germany, we got invited, and, like, I met Dirk Nowitzki, and we got to meet the whole national team because I won, like, this tournament at one point. For football, we won a state championship when I moved over here for high school. Like, there's always been something that, like, I've always, like, in this, like, like, basically in a weird, selfish way, like, solidified how I felt at that time. And I was like, all right, well, what's
validation,
next?
Like, validation.
But I never stuck with one thing, because if any of those things I would have stuck with all the way, I would be playing professional in any of those sports, 100%. And I know that because it's just, now doing with bodybuilding, I'm doing the same shit again. Yeah. I'm not at the Olympia, but I know for a fact that, like, I could stand up there with the best of the best if I really just dedicated everything to it. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I guess I love the journey and the process so much more when you're in the shit. Yeah. To the point where when it doesn't even, I don't even care about the reward as much, because it's like, what else? I'm already thinking about what else or what next I can get started on. Like, for me, now in this bodybuilding career, like, when I stop bodybuilding or competing officially, it's going to be, like, more, like, longevity-based. So, like, I want to do, like, kickboxing. I want to box. I want to do jiu-jitsu. I want to do, like, shit like that. Because, like, the flexibility, mobility, like, I just want to be mobile and longevity.
You want to be versatile, though.
That's what it is, yeah.
Because you're, like, naturally athletic, probably, or you just like being athletic in general. So I think that's why. Absolutely. Like, you probably got bored with soccer, but it's not like, you knew that, like, it wasn't going to excite you, like, long-term, basically. That's why.
I mean, dude, at 12 at 12 years old, I think at 12 or 13 years old, like, my grandfather was already trying to get me, like, a manager. Yep. And it was, like, already setting me up. So, like, for me looking at it, I was like,
probably put too much pressure on you, too.
Well, no, it's the fact that I already knew how my life was going to turn out. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to, like, actually, like, all right, cool, then I'll get 16, then I'll start second league, and then I'll work myself up. By 19, I'll be there. And it's like, I already knew what was going to happen. Yeah. It's like, where's the excitement in that, then?
Who got you in soccer?
Good question. Probably my dad. I would assume probably my dad and my grandfather.
Why do you think that?
Just because, I mean, so I like to compare soccer, especially back then around that time. Soccer, is like football in Texas.
Yeah, 100%.
So around that time, soccer was still trash here in the United States. Yeah. So even when I moved here in 2007 and I got recruited and like people found out how I play, like where I played soccer in Germany, or like why aren't you playing here? Is the camaraderie and the dynamic wasn't the same, and the love for the game just was nowhere near the same here. Yeah. So I was like, well, screw it, I'll just play basketball and football here.
Because everyone's probably like trying to be the top person too. Like there's
absolutely
a lot of big egos, probably more so.
Absolutely, and I don't know. It just kind of, I just remember one day I just came home, and I remember because like one of my coaches at the time, which is like he was awesome. Michael was Michael in German actually. Yeah. He I think he came over the house because he found out that I wanted to quit, and it was emotional thinking about it now because for looking at it now as I'm 30 how he must have felt to see someone with so much talent and be
potential
and knowing we're gonna make this happen, this is gonna be the kid that's gonna, because we're from a small town, it's Butzbach, it's it's a tiny little town, and then to be damn, he's not gonna go through with it, and it's it has to be heartbreaking in a way, because it's if you only knew what he would do, if he knew, if you could just fast forward 10 years to see what would happen. And sometimes I think about that, but it's it's the same reason why also leading to this point where I'm at in my life now. When my parents decided to move back to Germany because they absolutely, especially my mom, hated it here. Mm-hmm. Well, it's also New Jersey. It was just different.
Exactly.
Not that it was bad. It's just so much different from what she was accustomed to. And my parents both and my little sister, they ended up moving back to Germany after I graduated high school. So I stayed here, and I decided in that moment, I'm going to stay here and just challenge myself.
Yeah.
The reason why is because I grew up with kids around, you were considered poor if you didn't have, a $2 million house in Randolph. Yeah. Mind you, we come from Butzbach, and, Germany is a complete different dynamic.
100%. That's, that's the thing with the middle class thing, though.
Yeah.
Because, that's, all fancy and shit, but, in reality, that's, the top tier of the mid class, and then you're kind of just, that's it. You're looking at it, and it's just, it's actually not that much,
right.
In general.
And, looking back at it now, I'm fuck. I feel like shit for, kind of what I put my parents through, in a way. Because it's,
Do you try to fit in there?
Yeah, absolutely. Because
How so?
Me, I adapt easily. How do I say it? So, I'm very much like my grandfather.
Yeah.
And it's weird saying it because as I get older now, I'm starting to realize all the characteristics and the belief system and everything he has. It's similar in a ways of all the stuff he used to tell me. The people person, the loving, the caring, all that stuff I get from my dad.
Yeah.
Whereas more so the, how do you say it, realistic outlook as far as what to achieve, what not to avoid, mistakes to learn from, and what to actually do, what's going to be better for you in the long run that you can't see for yourself kind of thing.
Being an individual in some sense.
Right, my grandfather would do, because he was the only one who ever told me don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not looking back at it around that time in my life, I shouldn't have had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I should establish myself, set my own priorities away, and then, but at the end of the day, I also wouldn't be who I am.
Yeah.
So it takes both and both, but looking at the teachings, what he was trying to tell me, and just not being able to communicate, which is where I find myself now. Because it's I come from a good place of heart, whereas the shit that I can't say, I just say it how it is, and it's people just
it's raw.
It is, it's raw, but it's people one, who the fuck are you to tell me, because you don't know, but it's I do know, I just don't know how to actually explain to you, which is why Haley's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because then she kind of she knows what I'm trying to say, and she'll translate. We've done it too. We'll sit there and she's this is what he really meant, and then it's oh, okay, that's what. All right, and I didn't know it's weird, man. It's weird.
Yeah.
But leading back to my grandpa, it's just,
it's I think, is it a part of the culture or no?
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
What about it though? In some sense,
Germans are very efficient.
In what ways? All aspects.
All aspects in the sense that they're not fast, but they're very efficient and smart and calculated.
Yeah.
They play like chess.
Yeah, long term.
Happiness over short term pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's ultimately what's always been great about it, and this has changed since, don't get me wrong, but in Germany, it's so funny how people here, when I moved to Germany, isn't German racist? Did you get called and I mean, I don't know. It's something like you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it's like, no. Actually, it's like probably some of the best times of my life I actually had over there. Like, it didn't matter. Yeah. Most of my friends, like, I had friends from Turkey.
Because it's not as political over there, probably.
It wasn't. Yeah. Like, it didn't matter. Like, even my dad felt... Imagine my dad who was from Philly, and I'm talking about the streets of Philly, and from the hood, like, grew up relatively poor. Yeah. Feels more accepted in Germany because he became an adult there, and more safe and comfortable being around other people who don't look like him at all. Yeah. But they respect you because you're not an asshole, you pay your taxes, you're not causing any trouble, you're peaceful, you say hi to the neighbors. Like, it was like that kind of dynamic. Yeah. And it was like, wow, like, it's actually cool to live here. Like, it's actually cool to be part of this.
Feels nice, yeah.
And
community.
I think that's what I've also missed over since I've lived in the United States. I think it's just the world in general at this point now. Like, do you know your neighbors where you live at in your spot?
Hell no. I've seen them. That's about it.
But it's weird, man. Yeah. Like, I don't get it. Like, especially like I've been here a year and some change now, but like,
trying to make friends.
Not really trying to make friends. It's just the fact that like I hold the door open. Like, I don't necessarily like. Does a simple thank you, like hey, or like if I walk
communication.
If I walk past you and I literally look you, I'm not about to just pretend like I didn't see you. Like, I'm gonna be like, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? like. Just because you don't have to answer and give me a whole life spiel, but it's just like acknowledging that there's a freaking human being in front of you and understanding that like it's much bigger than you.
I think that's what we're doing to like a lot of people.
Right, and that's I mean, you're right. Like, it's like even for you, like we had a talk last week or something like that, and I learned something completely new about you, and it's like what you went through in high school, and I'm like, wow, like. I can't even relate in any form. Like, I'm thinking my problems were so much bigger, but it's like, wow, I guess to go actually sit there and think about what you went through, and it's like, but we're all the same.
But that's the thing that like in different perspectives in general, like mine, like my family was good and everything. I just wasn't good, and it might have been like reversed for you. You might have been good, but your family wasn't good. You know.
Well, the thing is, they were actually. And this was like both of my parents. Like we talked about this last time. Like, I always felt guilty. The reason why I think I've always gotten to this point where I stopped something before I actually reached the pinnacle of it is because I self-sabotaged. Self-sabotaged myself because I didn't feel deserving of it. Yeah. So it's like, why I see all these people, I meet all these people, their backgrounds, what they've gone through. I mean, people that lost a leg. Like, anything you could possibly think of. Like, I sympathize with people when I meet them because it's like, wow, like, I don't know how I would be as a person if this happened, such and such happened to me, or this is what occurred in my life, or this altered my life. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel for those people, and it's like, how can I get much closer to feeling like that, so that it pushes me to then elevate a difference. So it's like we all feel like we're winning, and that's all it has been. Like, if you ask my dad, what's the one thing about me that he can say, or one thing I would want to write on my tombstone, it's like, I really just want everybody to win. Yeah. And I would do that at the cost in my relationships, with friendships. I would do that at a cost of like sabotaging myself just to help someone else, even though it's almost fucking impossible to help anyone unless you're helping yourself. Yeah. And that's the reverse psychology of it. It's like you can't help anyone unless you're actually helping yourself.
You know what the universal thing is, though, of like what you're talking about in some sense? What? Like that's how you express your love.
Right.
Like, that's just what it is. Yeah. That's how you express
I don't know how else to do it. There's no other way.
But that's like the universal language is love. Yeah. Like, no matter what, everyone wants to be loved no matter what. I did acid one time, and this was like a point in my life to where I was like, damn, I need new friends, basically, because...
But you discovered it as you were tripping?
Yeah, 100%. We went to the lake in general. It's probably like 30 minutes away from our place. And then we started tripping, like, on the way there. On the way back, it was like 3 a.m. The person that was driving the vehicle, like, didn't have, like, his license on him. And he's like, can I give you my social security number? And all three of us, or me and my friend right here, are tripping. This dude's drunk. Passenger that owns the vehicle, it's not his. It's not insured. It's under his mom's name. Jesus. Oh my God. We're in that situation. I thought I was completely fucked and I was tripping balls. And I literally, like, just couldn't even, like, help myself but, like, keep on saying, like, the light. And I was just, like, playing with the lighter, basically. And just, like, in that moment, I don't know. That's, like, in some sense, I found God, like, that it's going to be okay. I don't know why.
The light.
But, like, just that whole situation. Yeah, so, like, when you're in darkness, all you see is the light. If you think about it. Like, I don't know if you've been in a situation like that, you know?
Wow.
But, like, when you're, like, at your rock bottom, or you feel like it.
Like, as of right now, I don't think I can think of, like... I can't recall...
Like, emotionally.
Right.
Because that's all it was. It just enhanced my emotions. Like, I've had multiple...
So acid, what it does, it just based on what you're currently feeling.
Any kind of drug, weed itself, right. Like that's why any kind of drug it messes with your emotions in general, and that's why like people like smoke weed because they think it like calms their nerves, but it actually makes them more anxious in some way long term.
Right.
Like one time I was like those what was it called? Fuck. It's like an event basically for weed. Like all the weed dispensaries come around and do that shit. And this chick, I fucking got peer pressure doing like a big ass like dab, and that's like the purest form basically of like what you can get for weed. Tried them. Exactly, you don't know. But I was like by myself, and I got the most anxiety in like the amount of 10 minutes basically, and just like was just walking in circles because it just needed to sober up, and I just had to wait there.
So what are you thinking about?
So you have to literally deal with your emotions basically and accept them. Like, it forces you to in some sense.
But isn't that good in a way?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it would help in a better setting, but definitely...
Yeah, but, like that's what I'm trying to say, like... But everyone's taking all these things for some reason, just because they want to get away from it, but it's only short term. So, like, that, in reality, the whole scenario, it wasn't that big of a deal, but I got anxiety just from it because I couldn't control myself. In some way.
Fuck.
Like, if you're drunk...
Yeah.
Same shit. Like, if you're probably, like, less anxious of anything, but you can't control yourself. Or, like, people around you, it might make them more anxious.
I think that's probably
because
why
they
I
can't
haven't
control
tried
you.
any... Yeah. I'm, like...
Yeah, 100%.
I am really much obsessed with being in control of what I can do.
Yeah. But that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, like, And there's also the fear of just being a hypocrite in that sense that, like, I can't be telling people what to do or, like, how, like, you have the answers for yourself and how you're in full control of your life.
You can, but they're probably not going to listen.
Right. Yeah. And that's the main thing, but it's more so the fact that, like, I have to live by that because it's just truly what feels natural to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't...
Exactly.
And I think... But also realizing that as I got older, like... And this happened a couple of years ago, realizing that, like... We're actually not in control as much as we think.
Hell no.
And...
When did you realize that?
Probably as I started dating Haley. So...
Yeah.
The one thing... Me and Haley have never really had... any... like, huge fights or, like, disagreements in that sense. It's all... But the one thing that we never really saw eye to eye with... was, like, religion.
Yeah.
In the beginning part. And the reason why...
Is she religious?
No, she's not at all.
Are you?
Yeah, I was. Because I grew up in it. So like we used to go to church, like as a family, we used to go to church every Sunday.
Like Christian or something?
Yeah. My first name is Timothy. Yeah. My mom named me. My mom's very religious in the sense of like very God spiritual. Like I have really close friends who are very spiritual in that sense.
Yeah.
But for me, as I've continuously gotten older,
you see less of it.
There's too many questions
that
I have. And then when I met Haley, it actually made me question more things even more. To the point where now I know that all these things that have happened.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things that have just happened in my life, or even the creation of me, that I don't think... You can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't just happen out of coincidence.
Good question. Do you think you're lucky?
Absolutely.
Why?
I just said that shit. I just said that shit 2 days ago. We're sitting here on the balcony, and I looked her out, and I was like, and me and Haley, this is like a moment of silence of like 5 minutes. We do that quite often, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I'm really lucky. And she's like, why? Why do you say that? And I was like, I was really just observing, because it's like...
Exactly. You're grateful.
There's people getting on the train every fucking day, and they hate doing that every day, to go to a job that they don't want to do. There's people working at Publix right now that are like, who knows what problem, like daily life problems they're just getting constantly smacked in the face with, that they can't ever seem like catch a break. Or and I'm just looking at all these people
comparing them though.
Right, and it's more sort of, I'm not I guess that,
okay,
right. Okay.
First of all.
Right.
Camera. If you don't think you're lucky, you're a fucking piece of shit. You know why?
Yeah.
No, like, actually.
Yeah.
Like, in reality, you could have just not woke up, and you're not grateful for your life.
Absolutely.
No, like, seriously.
I know.
Like, that's what, I don't know.
No, you're
like,
right.
Like, you can
though.
be up your biggest downfall, but you still have to have, like, hope in some sense.
And that's where I think it's just something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly.
Like, it has to be, because even if there's so the way Haley explained this, like the whole religion part and what our belief system is and I think Alex Harmali said it perfectly. I forget exactly word for word, but it pretty much is like we beg to we question everything that we would never question, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I gotta actually find the quote that he said, but it was like when he said it, I was like, oh fuck. I'm like, he's so right, and there's the reason why I say this because we hold on to something that we really don't even believe or have never questioned ourselves. But it's just because it's just been ingrained in us and taught to us by our parents and like all this childhood trauma, like everything that we carry on is like unresolved shit that we never actually question and figure out for ourselves. And it's like if you don't ever get to that point, it's like you're not even fucking living it. Two, you don't even know who the fuck you are. Because like you don't, and then that actually, and I think that's what leads it back to like what do you want is like such a paralyzing fucking question because you don't even know who you are yet, what you really believe. Because it's like now you're getting smacked with all this information as we're getting older, and you don't know what to believe, and then you don't have how you're supposed to be, and then you wonder why you're insecure because you can't make decisions. You're scared and you're fearful of them making the wrong decisions, so you don't even attempt to try anything new. And it's like it's just literally a fucking vicious cycle, and it just continuously goes. And it's like, how do you break out of that? And it's like taking that first step of discovering who the fuck you really are. So I realized, like, okay, I don't necessarily believe that there is a God or his name is God or Allah or anything like that. Because there's different people. I have so many different friends from different backgrounds that believe in other things. And it's awesome getting different perspectives all around. Mm-hmm. To the point where it's like, for me personally, I want 100% there's something bigger out there than ourselves. But it's also not for me. I'm not about to spend the rest of my life trying to find the answers to that to see if it's real. Everybody win.
Say it again? You want to see everyone win?
Like, so, leading back to the same point where you just said, like, oh, if you're not grateful, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's only two human beings in here. You're either a shit person or you're not. And it doesn't matter if you're left or right. It doesn't matter if you're gay or you hate it. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not. It is just a principle of how are you as a person on your daily habits and what you do and how do you conduct yourself around other human beings. And ultimately, after you figured out how to deal with your own fucking shit and your own problems, what are you doing to help other people help fix their own fucking problems? And I think that is the only reason why we're on this fucking... Not because of reproduction, not bringing in all these other shit, not to advance in futuristic technology, AI, and all this other fucking bullshit. It's ultimately my only purpose for me personally, and what I think is most important is how can we just establish love for each other?
Yeah.
And accept one another for who it is. And then it's like, I don't... Would you rather, and that's where like it gets hard as you get older, like because then you have to choose your battles. And it's like, would you rather be at war with yourself and at peace with the world, just to fit in, so that you're not offending someone or you're not stepping out of the norm? Or
everyone does too.
And that's what I was
tired of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not me. I don't, like, I'm back onto, like, I don't give a fuck about your feelings because it's the only thing that's made me feel better and the people around me win.
Yeah.
So fuck you. It works. My formula works for what it is. And I can selfishly say that because it's like, when I'm doing what the fuck I need to be doing, magically everyone else has fucking good news to share.
Yeah.
My buddy, just fucking Luis, one of my fucking, like, dude, I love this kid more than anything. Just fucking left me a voicemail 2 days ago. I finally I closed on this fucking house that I've been trying to do. Like, as we're all working on shit.
Yeah.
It's just more, it's just an energy that feeds and feeds and feeds. And it's like, if you are the reflection in the mirror of what you see in the world, it will be a better place. And I know that sounds so cliche to say, but it's truth. And it all goes back to gratitude and waking up and being grateful for being fucking lucky that you didn't grow up to be a fucking rat or a fucking tree or a fucking dinosaur back like 3. Like, I don't give a fuck what you believe in, but it's like, you're one of one.
Yeah.
Like, you're one of one. Who knows? Like,
that's what the men's group chat that I'm like about. like the community itself, that's like what it's named, 1 of 1.
1 of 1?
Dude, you need to read the fucking book. Wild at Heart is a really good book, and it literally tells you about the man's soul. It literally goes into the man's soul. Like, I'll just get like one.
Do you have a quote or something like that?
Not even. Like, I just have it highlighted. Like,
is there a part of the any part of the book where it's like it like hit you, like where you read it and you're like,
I think personally with every single like man on the earth personally,
mm-hmm.
like in some sense, do you know what like handing the torch is basically?
No.
Like
hanging the torch?
Handing it. Like your father gives you the torch and like says, hey, carry this whole fucking legacy of the family now. Basically.
Okay.
Like, have you ever felt that? Or like, have you ever like, do you get the understanding of it basically? No one does that now.
I definitely understand that.
Like, no one, like, your grandfather probably told your dad, hey, you're the man of this family. Like, it's all about strategy, basically, in some sense. Like, if you want your family to be strong, you literally need to be, like, you need to have someone in power to, like, look up to and be the rock of the family. Everyone knows it.
I'm that person.
No, that's what I'm trying to say, though. He handed you the torch, and he didn't even know it, probably. You just got it handed to you, like, thrown to you, basically, in some sense.
I think it's been, like...
You just took it, basically.
Yeah. Because, like, even the stuff that we're talking about and, like, the things me and Haley talk about, like, those uncomfortable conversations, like...
What type of uncomfortable conversations?
Like, dude, my communication skills used to be trash.
Yeah.
So much worse than they are still. Like, I still need to improve on them, but, like...
Every man.
Dude, it's... I'm like, no wonder... I just never stood a chance of ever having a healthy relationship before with any of the women I dated.
Why?
I used to go for, like, batshit crazy girls because I used to self-sabotage because it's like, oh, I have to fix them because they're just as fucked up as me kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like...
In what way, though? Give, like, one example.
What, like, one of the crazy girls I dated?
Yeah. Like, just, if you wanted to.
I mean, dude, I used to get, like, the example... Like, this is... Actually, I didn't even date this girl. This girl, one time, we were actually just regular friends, and...
Yeah.
This is a while back ago.
That's usually how it starts, probably.
But I didn't know she was so obsessed with it to the point where one time we went to a party and the next morning I wake up and I'm just like butt-ass naked in my room and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Long story short, I got roofied. Woke up, she's laying next to me. I'm naked, she has clothes on.
Bruh.
In my bed. I'm like, there's no
way. How old are you?
Like, I wouldn't... 20? 19?
Where are you at? Jersey?
This was college.
Okay.
College, yeah. First year of college. And I'm like, there's no way I would hook up with her.
Yeah.
Like, ever. Like, I don't, and also I don't remember any of this. Like, what the fuck happened? And long story short, I wasn't the only one, so it was confirmed that everybody, they like roofied the jungle juice or some shit at this fucking party.
No.
So like 30 people got roofied.
Bruh.
And I'm like, holy shit. Well, long story short, 6 weeks later, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm like, the fuck are you talking? We didn't even have sex. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. You don't remember? Like, and like, so fucking mind fucking me with this thing.
And you don't even know either.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my mind's racing. Mind you, the backstory, my mom had me at 17.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Afraid of that?
So, no. My grandmother dated a soldier. They ended up moving to Georgia. Yeah. So she had ties to family to Georgia. She came to visit one of her cousins from that side. They end up going to Virginia Beach. My dad's from Philly. He decides with his boys one time at the same time to go to Virginia Beach. My parents meet. My mom is 16. My dad is 17. They meet for a weekend. They spend time together. They hook up. My mom moves back to Germany because it was just a trip. Finds out she's pregnant. Right, this is the coolest story
That's
ever.
Crazy.
I'm telling you. Finds out she's pregnant. My dad goes back to school. My dad ended up going to college, playing football, yada yada. Something happens. I never understood what happened, but he dropped out of college and then joined the military. At this point already, I'm 1 year old already.
Yeah.
They're like going back and forth, but he has no fucking clue that I even exist or that she was pregnant. Because she didn't. My mom. This is how boss my mom is.
Yeah.
My mom's such a boss. So at 17, my mom is in school. She's taking care of, pretty much living. My grandmother's blind, so she's helping my blind mother, taking care of me, still finishing school and working a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely just...
Yeah, The Rock.
So for me, like, my self-sabotaging ways of feeling guilty is because I've always felt like I needed to do so much more because I never was in that situation to begin with.
Yeah.
And more so just give back to her and all the sacrifice she ever did, including my dad. So my dad ends up enlisting into the army, gets transferred to Germany, reaches out to one of her girlfriends, finds my mom at a club, surprises her. That same night, she was like, well, are you coming home with me? And then she surprises him with me. And that's how, and my dad was in my life ever since.
Damn.
17, 18 years old in Germany.
That's interesting.
But
that's crazy.
So that story now, the fear of, so all my life, my mom was like, make sure you don't have kids, make sure you don't have kids early, make sure you don't have kids, and like just drilling us this like just this paranoia of never like I don't want to have kids early.
My dad's trying to do that too.
Like my mom bought me condoms when I was like 15 or some shit. She's like, you're not gonna be a whore. Like you start wearing fucking rubbers. Like like you're not pumping any babies out or something.
I'm fucking yeah. My dad always says that. Wrap up.
And oh yeah. So looking back to she's like taking me through this whole spiel of how she's pregnant. We're, like, going to, like, the thing. They're, like, confirming it. I'm like, fuck. Like, no, I don't want... And I'm like, dude, I don't want to have a kid by this woman. Like, I don't, like, at all. Like, she's not... I don't want this at all. Like, I don't want... Like, why the fuck... Like, why did I don't... This wasn't... Nothing. I didn't want this to ever happen. Like, this is not mine. There's no way. Like... And then she has a miscarriage. So, I'm like... In a way, I'm like...
Grateful, yeah.
But I'm like... Also, like, fuck... Dude, turns out later, finally one of her girlfriends came around. So she ended up forging the papers because her girlfriend was a doctor, which is... I don't even know how the fuck you're allowed to do any of this shit.
Dude, fuck.
Like, I could have probably made a fuck ton of money if I sued her in a 100%. Sense. But, like, in that moment, I was just so relieved that it was, like, done that I didn't even think past that. And I was like, whatever. Like, just go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Forged the papers. And then, like... pretty much like lied about the whole thing about being pregnant. Got some other girl that she was friends with to pee on a stake to prove that she was pregnant. Like, dude, I'm talking about she went through this whole thing.
How long was the cycle?
It was just like, I think she had a miscarriage like 12 weeks. So like 3 months of just torturing myself.
Bruh.
Dude, I fucking hated myself. I didn't know, like, I was like, my life's about to change. And I was just so, like, I'm like, should I just... And I'm like, last thing I'm going to do is, like, what example would I leave to fucking be a deadbeat dad when my dad just did that for me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're having all these...
psychological things.
Dude, that was probably the worst fucking time ever. Yeah. Like, because it's like, I was going to have to do the right thing.
I wonder, like, how... Like, what if I was playing? All the people that got roofied and shit? Like, what if, like, a group of chicks just, like, did the same shit?
Just to lock them in, yeah. I mean, there's definitely women that want that. I mean, just because they know they can never really. I mean, I bet you if you look up this chick right now, she's probably still single, miserable as fuck, and can't find a dude.
100%.
So like,
you could give 100%.
Like, so,
or she's just like with a dude that hates his life, basically.
Right, because then you can manipulate him over, and it's like,
but long term, she's just fucking herself though too, like in reality, because like she's probably was just some like dickhead, basically.
Right. And the reason why is also because of the fact that, like, I get it. It's not like, should I feel honored in a way? Because, like, you wanted to have mine because you knew I was going to be a great father. Yeah. I know I'm going to be a great father. Like, he's taught me everything. Yeah. I know the camera can't see it, but I got Rowie right here. Come here, buddy. Come here. That's my baby boy right here. Dude, this dog has taught me so much in the sense of, like, his separation anxiety, and being able to communicate because he can't talk. Mm-hmm. But like to put yourself in his shoes, like dude, he lived on the streets for a fucking year and a half. Yeah, who knows what he actually has marks on his body that I'll never be able to understand. Yeah, like he has scars and shit. Like who knows what he was so traumatized for? Like he's scared.
And that's just how life is too.
You know.
Come on, you got it.
He's good.
That's just how life is too. You're gonna fucking have a bunch of scars that you can't
But it like taught me patience. Like I never thought like this is a funny story. So you know how I figured out how we could leave him alone. So you know how we have the loft style here. Yeah. So his cage is upstairs. Yeah. So the one day, because he would fuck up like doors, he would pee, he would even at the Airbnb when we were staying when we were looking for this condo, he like fucked the whole door. I had to like, oh man, it was a nightmare. I had to fix it. But dude, it would be so bad because he'd just be so scared. And then as soon as he got back, he would just feel so bad. Yeah. And it just sucked. But like, so we tricked him now. So first, Benadryl. If your dog has separates, I give him a little bit of Benadryl. It helps a lot. Not for him though as much, because it doesn't matter how much you can it won't knock the fuck out. Like it just, his anxiety is so fucking crazy. But we put him in a cage. I get undressed to go to the gym. This is me getting ready for the gym. Haley's at work at this time, and this was last year. Mm-hmm. I bring my clothes, I throw him down. I walk down naked so he thinks I'm just staying here. I turn on a movie or something that's playing, like the Gary Vee 8-hour video, and that's how I discovered that. 8 hours of just nonstop talking. So he thinks someone's here the entire time while we're talking. Yeah. Then I had the dishwasher running, I had the fucking washing machine running, and then I would slowly quit. I have to sneak out of my own fucking house, and then get dressed here ready for the gym, and slowly get out so that he can't hear anything, because he's just sitting there listening. Yeah. And then because the moment, like, you only have this brief period of time until he breaks out of the cage, and then he'll come check. But once he actually realizes like it's all okay,
so you're saying you do that every day?
Every day. Right.
Damn, I thought you were just saying, hey, one day we just do this.
But now, like, he's doing around. Even right now, like, he's very much okay. Yeah. Like, he'll break, because now he just breaks out, but, like, he won't actually come down. Like, we'll come back, and, like, he'll still be up there. Yeah. Like, and he'll just come down if we call him down. Yeah. Whereas before, it was, like, there's no fucking way. Like, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it's just practice. And I think that's what leads to everything. Like, we talk about daily habits and everything, man. It's just overall practice of just doing the things you need to do, but doing the things you hate to do. Like, I don't want to do this shit every fucking time I want to leave the house. You know how awesome it would be to just grab the keys? Like, I can't grab the keys. Like, if you hear, that's the main thing, is a trigger. You hear the keys, fucked. Dude, he's running now, immediately. And it's like, fuck.
He's trying to go with you.
Yeah. And I can't blame him, because, like, whoever left him at that point, like, dude, I could pay enough money to find out who had him before and, like, abandon him. The things I would do to that person. Some, like, law-abiding citizen shit. I'll cut you up in, like, 67 fucking different pieces and still leave you alive.
You know, over here is, like, first 48 and shit.
Is it?
Yeah. Overtown.
Is it?
Yeah, like, all that shit.
Damn. I didn't know that.
It's a bad place, actually.
I mean, talking about perspective. If you're ever in Miami, like, and that's one thing I've done too. Yeah. Like, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've taken that way to the gym. Yeah. Just to make me and that's where, leading back to what I was talking about, like, the people looking at puppies or people. It's not that there's anything wrong. No. With this, everyone has their own battles. It just makes me appreciate more of what I've been lucky and fortunate enough to be able to do with the opportunities presented to myself. Yeah. And then also, in that regard, finding things so that I can brighten someone else's day. Yeah. And that's ultimately what I wanted. Like, that's all it is. Like, when you, like, I don't care what it actually is. Like, it's the first day you stopped drinking. I'm celebrating it like it's your fucking 1,000th day straight. Like, you took the first initial step. Like, that deserves to be, like, celebrate the small wins. It's okay to celebrate the small wins, even if it doesn't seem grand or, I didn't do as much. Like, fuck that. You did it, though. Because that's the only way. Like, that positive reinforcement of, like, like, this is good, and, like, proving to yourself and validating yourself by the time you go to bed tonight that, like, okay, I have a checklist. Mm-hmm. How much did I get done? Did I get most of it done? Like, all right, cool, fuck, I did it. Yeah. And it's like, now it sets it up for the next day. Yeah. Because, like, how many people here, or how many times have you sat there and you're like, all right, this is going to be the last time I smoke this weed tonight. And then tomorrow, I promise you, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to be up at 5. I'm going to be a fucking Elon Musk. I'm going to work 24 hours straight, and I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to build this business. No, it doesn't fucking work like that. It starts with small things and just working on them every single day. Like, and then stop setting yourself up for disappointment, too. Yeah. I used to do it all the time. Like I said, like...
How do you stop that?
Shit, I'm still figuring it the fuck out. But, like, it's been helping me by doing one thing. Like, focusing on and honing on one task at a time. Try more and more. Yeah. Yeah, like, try more and more. Like,
focus on the little things before you do the big things, basically.
Absolutely. And it's like...
That's like why Dave Ramsey and shit, you ever heard of him?
I love him.
Yeah. So basically...
I love when he goes off.
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly that, though. Like, you focus on the small, like, debts, and then you fucking just start incrementing. Snowball effect, you know? Right. Because that's what you're talking about, is the small wins. It makes you self-confident. Because like, what does Alex Merzi says? He says... Fuck, what is it called? Like when you're actually doing something, like you can't just be a phony, basically.
Right.
Like you get confidence from actually doing what you're already doing.
Right.
Not just saying it.
Right. It's sense. Like because you're pretty much creating an illusional like high almost that like thinking about it, saying it, but not actually doing the action to solidify what you just said and backing up the shit that you said.
Yeah.
And speaking
basically just action.
Yeah. I mean that's why like Haley gets like to me in certain cases. Like for me, like I hear you, I understand your problems, but I'm more so the person like, what the fuck are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
I might like I understand.
Chicks don't like to hear that either.
Huh?
Chicks don't like to hear that either.
No, not she's actually the best. Like I'm talking. I have more issues with guys. Girls were like I'm telling you, most women like, especially like Kat and all like any of them. You tell them one thing like that, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna fucking do it, because at least they're gonna try it and then be like, hey, this shit didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
Whereas like guys are like, oh, I don't know, or or make any fucking excuse, and it's like, just fucking do it. Like, you know what to do. Well, I don't know where to start. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Like, actually look at your life and what you do. Like, I just had one client, and he was like, oh, I need to get into a routine. Send me a fucking schedule of what you're going to do tomorrow. Yeah. And then I'll fill in the gaps and help you out. Like, okay, during this time from 3 to 5, you can do this and this and that. If you're going to do those things, it's up to you. But this is with the outlet, what we wrote out. Try it out. See how you feel after the day. Come back positive. Oh, wow, I feel fucking good because I got, 17 fucking things done, and I didn't even realize it, and it was just a regular day, and now all I did was just follow this fucking schedule. Yeah. And it's like, that's what I needed now. Haley built the whole calendar for me. Mm-hmm. So, like, and for, not calendar for, like, life to do shit. I'm talking about for, like, posting on social media so I can be accountable and do what I need to do. Because for me, I just won't do it because I don't want to. Mm-hmm. But how fucking stupid is that? How am I going to impact people and help people if I'm not out there? Yeah. On social platforms.
That's the strongest thing you can ever do. That's why you're, so, like, you're really good at marketing. That's what you don't know you're, like, that you're doing it, but you're really good at doing it. The only way you can market yourself or market in general for a company is telling your story. It is literally the only way. And you always end it with something, with saying, like, I don't even know. What's, like, a fucking thing that you usually say? Like, if you, like, say, if you get your point across, like, you like, emotionally close in some way. Because, no, like, that's what you're doing.
I know you're saying.
No, because I know the process. Like, that's what you're doing. You're emotionally start with something, you say the context of it, and then you pretty much, like, put the problem on it or whatever.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's weird. You have to catch. I don't know. Like, I know what you're saying though. Like, cause it's like now, like while we have the camera running, it's like it's so different. But it's obviously gonna come out with practice and just even like this. This is the first time we're filming this now. Yeah. It's the first time I got in front of a camera in 4 years. Like I have YouTube videos, but like it used to be nothing. Yeah. I used to have not think about it. It was just like roll the fucking camera. Bro. I am the content. But that's I got you.
My thing is you naturally can. Like, you can naturally grow more with this because you have more experience. Right. I don't have as much experience as you, which is why you're able to, like, tell all these stories, basically, and just be able to, like, really showcase yourself. Sure. Like, if you listen to any successful person that inspired you, they told their story, and you're able to relate in some way.
Absolutely.
Because you're emotionally, like, being able to, like, connect with them in some sense. Yeah. And it, like, made you shift your perspective. Because you're like... That's exactly what mentors are for. That's what you're, like, teaching people for. Right. Of, like, how to bodybuild and shit.
Because I just think for me, bodybuilding, like, people think it's just a physique. Like, dude, that's just a byproduct.
Yeah.
So it's the principles of, like, doing all the stuff I hate to do, but doing it like I love it because I know what the actual product during that time will do. Like, I know how much better I feel looking in the mirror when I'm actually posing every day. And I'm working on at the gym, hitting the body parts that I want to, so that when I'm looking in the mirror again, it's like, oh shit, this is what I want. And then you start to thinking, it's like
specific.
Yeah. So
like details and shit like that.
As far as like,
that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So and that's the same thing in life. Like, oh, if I wake up every day at 5:00 and I'm like, the first 30 minutes I'm gonna spend journaling. How does it not make you think that you're going to be better at communicating? You start to processing these emotions better in a month from now? Yeah. If you journal every day for 30 minutes, just to try it out. And that's one thing I want to push people to do. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, dude, when you're asking, like, what is it, like, when we're talking about your buddy, and I'm like, well, what is he technically supposed to do? Like, what do you mean by, like, you know what to do?
Yeah.
It's not no matter the what. It's more so the how to get you started so that you start questioning and start trying shit out. Yeah. Just because deep down, you have to be realistic as far as, like, I can actually do this and I can commit to this, or I'm just going to continuously bullshit myself.
In reality, though, it's the who.
Right.
Because who is he looking for to solve a problem? In reality, the problem is within who, which is himself. Right. Or yourself.
Said it perfectly. Yeah.
Like, in reality. Yeah. That's why, like, Greg Cardone, I love him so much just because you probably like him too.
I do. I like him. I've listened to some stuff.
Yeah, like, some of the shit that he says, it just makes sense. Like, I don't know. Like, exactly that. Like, it's no matter what problem it is, it's who. It's either yourself or someone else can help you.
And that's what's cool with this now. Like, you know how, like, because I was listening to, like, Andy Frisella, and he was doing, like, him and Lewis Holmes, I think, or his name is.
House. He's good at communicating.
Dude, he's awesome.
Yeah. He was just talking about fucking molestation and shit like that. They both probably connected on that. That's how they got connected.
And it's like, I don't want people to feel like even when I look at them, I'm like, fuck, bro, like 5, 6, 7, 800, 1,500 episodes of podcasts, and like we're starting to one now, but it's like at every level, we're always going to need us just as much as we're going to need them. Yeah. Just as much as we're going to need the people leading into eventually taking the trigger and being like, you know what, fuck this. Let's sit down and make the goddamn podcast. Yeah. How long have we been, like, I can't tell you how long I've been talking about doing this to even other people, to the point where now I met you and I'm like, it's killing me. Like, we have to do this. Yeah. There's no, like, what do we keep wasting these awesome fucking conversations that we've had in fucking gym parking lots? Like, we should just set the camera up there and just one after our workouts, because that's when, like, the mind is free. Like, we can process things better. We're not in, like, a judge. Like, you're not feeling pressure. You're not feeling like you can't, like, I don't know. That's why I love the gym so much and working out, just because after that, if you really go balls deep into your fucking workout, I don't care what you were angry about. I don't care what you were sad about. Yeah. It alleviates some of that stuff. And it allows you to kind of, like, take a deep... And it doesn't make you think about it, and it makes you refocus on the shit that actually matters. Yeah. And then we have our best conversations because we're talking about shit that really matters and what we can actually do to then take the next step forward to making it better for tomorrow.
What do you think causes stress? Being paralyzed? Because that, like, what you're talking about, being stressed, like, you're literally just sitting in it. Because you feel like you can't do anything about it.
There's so many things. I mean, some people, I feel like, from personal experience, there's been times when even social media is stressful because you're looking at other people that are living the life that you thought you would be living.
Yeah, but then it makes you feel helpless. That's why.
Right, but that's, it's the same thing, like, and people always disagree. I get a lot of people who get, like, really antsy about this, but, like, depression, right? Yeah. I personally don't think depression is real. And the reason why I say that... now,
Depression is in the mind.
Feeling depressed.
Yeah.
The actual... Feeling depressed. Very much real. Yeah. But the actual word of depression that we use too fucking loosely now doesn't make any sense to me, because, like, feeling depressed is a natural way of my brain telling me wherever the fuck this is right now that we're doing, Shawn, ain't working. It's just emotional. I don't like it. Yeah. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit with our goals. It's not aligned with our vision. It's not aligned with our core values and what we really believe in. None of that shit. So at the end of the day, why are we doing this and why are we feeling like this? Because this is why this requires change. Yeah. And that's how I feel, because that's the only thing that makes sense. Rather than sitting in there and just continuously soaking in this shit and then expecting a different outcome when you're just being negative, and you're like, oh, well, this and oh, but this. Like, dude, it's so easy to play the fucking victim. And it's like, back to the vicious cycle thing. It's one thing or another. How are you going to be able to validate yourself or make yourself feel good or go to the gym and be motivated and all this other shit? Or be able to, like, wake up at 5 and not just say, oh, fuck it, and just scroll on Instagram for 3 fucking hours because you don't have anything to do, and you're like, oh, I'm miserable and I'm sad.
And they're controlling you in some sense. Like, the news, for example, is a great example because it's usually all bad and stuff like that. Like, it's literally all negative, and then you go to the commercials, it's all negative. Take this fucking pill.
How long have you been doing this? It'll make you better.
You can't get erect? Fucking take this pill. They want the easy things. That's like the whole point of it. That's the like society is literally trying to break us down.
And they already did. Like they did it to the point
reality.
Where, I mean, dude, what they just came out with the study, right? Attention span is 7 seconds because of TikTok.
Yeah.
The crazy part is I don't know if this is actually true, but like supposedly when China actually started TikTok, it was supposed to be like what is it called? Like do it yourself do it yourself kind of page, where it's like you're looking for things to do, like more creative side of like how to like learn a language or how to build something do it yourself kind of like TikTok, like that's what TikTok was supposed to be.
It all does is attention.
And then supposedly like America ended up adopting the same thing, but then they twisted it and made it like the viral thing of videos and dances and all these other and the trends,
addicting things.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've always said. Like it's funny because like me and my sister, like I'm 30 now, she's 26.
Yeah.
I used to tell my little sister, and she used to be like, "Why don't you create memes? Because you're so good at it." Because I used to like that shit used to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Because I would just my goal was just like make funny memes because it's like the shit I used to be, and it made it relatable because I knew everyone understood it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said it is because like the amount of background of people that I've met in my life and from all different walks of life, it's cool as fuck when you like. I wish I could take a picture of everyone I've ever been in contact with because it would just be a fucking like. Multi-racial, like everyone, gay, trans, like it doesn't matter who. Like there's so many people I've met and been able to connect with that I love.